today's video, we're going to add a repeater field to a custom post in Bricks Builder. Watch till the end to learn how to style data with alternating row colors using CSS. It's easy to do in Bricks Builder like this example shows for the pricing table. This video assumes you've already set up a custom post, added custom fields, built the archive and single post template, and added it to your site. If these terms are unfamiliar to you, you need to go back to my first video and watch it. The first step is to add a repeater field in ACF. Since we have an existing custom fields group, we're going to add it to this group. It's already attached to editors, and we built this in our previous video. I'm going to go ahead and add a field. We add repeater as the type, and then we get this kind of subsection. So repeater becomes the group for fields that are going to go within it. So I'm going to call the repeater work hours. And then inside of it, we're going to add one label for days and another one for hours. So you can think of a repeater like building a table, and the repeater field is like the row, and days and hours are like the cells within the row. And then WordPress is going to take this field and repeat it into a table. We'll go ahead and save our configuration and test it in backend. Now that we've added our repeater fields, we see our new section here, and it looks like an empty table. We can go ahead and add fields to it, or rows to it. Add a second row for Thursday. This guy works short hours. Friday. Like that. We can save these changes. Another cool tip in custom fields is that we can add placeholder text, which will appear within the field and as prompts users about what to enter into the field. And it's also very useful for consistency in data. Now that I've added the placeholder into the days placeholder text option under presentation and reload my page, when I go to add another row, I now get placeholder text that suggests how I should format the data. This is really useful for consistency. ACF calls the field type a repeater field. Bricks Builder calls the same field a repeater field, but it calls the query a nested query instead of simply calling it a repeater query. It's kind of confusing on Bricks' part. I wish they would just follow the standard WordPress lingo and call this a repeater query like the whole rest of WordPress world does, instead of deciding to call it a nested query. So anytime you're searching documentation and there's WordPress forums or conversations where people are talking about repeater queries, Bricks will call it a nested query. Between the first video and up to this one, we have now completely built a custom post type with custom fields and a repeater query. This configuration allows your customers to fully edit their website without diving into Bricks Builder. We're going to head back to the editor single post template, which we made in a previous video, and add the repeater table below the email and phone. To do that, we'll go ahead and add a block below, and inside it we'll add two rich text fields. So the key here is to keep your data structure very simple. The block is going to become the query, and each rich text field will become the data. Let's rename it. So this block will become the repeating row element that matches the data we've entered into the repeater field. The next step is to select our days parent block and choose row for the direction. This will lay out our text in nice rows when we fill in the dynamic data. Go ahead and select the parent, then go to query loop, query, and select work fields from the drop down. If you're wondering how this is really all put together, it's two levels of queries in WordPress. The first level of query is set by the custom post and the custom post template, where it's querying the editor with the basic post data. So it's saying, I'm the editor page, get the post type editor, bring in the title, the feature image, the work bio, and then the custom fields we've added to it. Say, for this specific custom post, bring in the matching email and phone. So that is the query set on the first level. Now we've added another level of query to it that says, on whatever single custom post type I am, bring in a repeater field of the work days and hours. Now we go to the days rich text field, delete the text from it, and in dynamic data, we go ACF work field days. And in the hours, we'll delete out our placeholder data and we'll choose ACF work field hours. I'll save my change and let's see if we got this right. And there we have it. We have a repeater that shows Monday to Wednesday, 9 to 5, Thursday, 10 to 2, Friday, 9 to 12. That's matching the data we added to the custom post. Let's go ahead and style this. All right, guys, we are ready to do the icing. You've come a long way. If you followed every step of these 2 videos, you have built a fairly advanced configuration in WordPress. And the final icing on the cake is to style this nicely using alternating row colors, which is rather advanced, but Bricks makes it very easy to do. One of the key elements to having that styling work well is to have followed my instructions exactly for the data hierarchy here. It does not necessarily work if you screw this up and change it. You need to have the block with the 2 fields inside it, and it's guaranteed to work for you the first time. As you build more advanced formats, you'll have to make sure that you're targeting the right row for your repeater. And the way to find that is possibly to open Inspector and check out your HTML output to make sure that you're targeting the pseudo class to be on the row level and not some subfield or some subdiv inside it. So the alternating row colors are pseudo classes like hover, active, and focus. I've already made the pseudo class we need, but it is really this simple. To format the alternating row colors, we need to use something called pseudo class. And we need to use a pseudo class that isn't included by default in Bricks Builder. So there's 2 things. We need to make the pseudo class, style it, and we need to apply it to the right element. It's critical that we choose the parent block that is the same level as the query loop, as this is the element that's going to repeat, and our class needs to be applied to this outer element, as this is what's going to become the alternating colors. So the pseudo class we need to make is similar to hover, active, and focus. So we paste in the pseudo class we need, which is nth of type even. You could change this to odd if you want it to. Gonna leave this as is, and then we'll hit enter. With the parent block still selected, we're now actively editing the nth of type pseudo class. We're gonna head over to style and we'll choose a alternating background color. I think I'm going to use my action or my primary color. We'll set this as the background, and then we're going to save our work and check it to sanity check our work. And there we go. We have an alternating background color that is going to follow every second repeater inside of this query. Before we add padding to the field, since we're still in the pseudo class, we're going to change the typography to white for everywhere that we have the green alternating row color background. So we'll save and preview that before we add the padding. There we go. Now we want to exit the pseudo class and we're going to add padding to the field because we want padding to show everywhere, not just on the alternating row. So I'm going to go padding XS, save it, refresh, and we start to get some formatting. We still have a issue here with the data. I want this left aligned and I want this right aligned to make neat columns. So we go back, make sure we've selected our parent, and in the flex setup of the parent div, we are going to choose space between and save. Now we have a nicely formatted hours and days column. We are going to go back and add the final step to this data is to add headers to it. So we'll head back to Bricks. In our right column, we're going to add another block. I'm going to move it above the days, and inside it, we're going to put 2 headings. we will format them into a row with space between, and then we are going to go to the header level, select the element, and choose an H4 title for both. And then we will fill in the content and give it days and hours. I'm going to add some margin at the top of this block. I keep typing into my pseudo class field margin dash top, large, save, and there we have a heading for our repeater field that has some bolded headlines with H4 tags. There you have it, folks. It's not that complicated, but there is some pretty exacting steps you need to go through to get here. So if you aren't getting this result, go back and follow the video exactly and you will get here. If you've watched the video this far, you're definitely geeky. Congratulations. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out big time as I build my channel and lets me build more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.